Hi, it's Reverend Stephanie Denise. I hope that you are having a fantastic day. I just want to talk to you a little bit about healing after divorce. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Right. All right. So of course, we know that divorce it brings about many emotions, and healing after divorce is a journey of growth. Divorce can be painful. It can be a very painful experience. I know from firsthand experience, and it's not something I would wish on anyone. But you know what? There is life on the other side of it. And so I'm just here to remind you that you can do it. It's also an opportunity for growth and self-discovery. There might be some things that you have wanted to do for a very long time, but you haven't done for fear of what your spouse might say or what others might say. But now in this new season, you have a special freedom, a freedom to walk in growth and self-discovery. This presentation is really brief, but it really just explores the journey of healing after divorce and offers guidance and inspiration for rebuilding a fulfilling life. We want to live a life of purpose. I always say that it's important to walk in faith, find your purpose, and abundance will follow. So, faith, purpose, and abundance. And oftentimes with life changes, we're not really sure what our purpose is. And so we have the wonderful opportunity to remember, recall, reflect on the things that brought us joy before this life change. Emotional healing is so important. As you go through the season, definitely take the time to embrace emotional healing. Grief is a big part of the process. There are going to be some days that are very hard where you might feel a range of emotions, a host of emotions, sadness, grief, anger, anxiety, even, right? But allow yourself to acknowledge the feelings of loss. Allow yourself to acknowledge the feelings of sadness and also anger, right? This is a huge life change. Things have not gone according to plan. And so you have the opportunity to give yourself permission to grieve the end of your marriage. Grieve the end of your marriage. Give yourself opportunity to do that. You know, the thing about divorce, what makes it so hard is that it is like a death, but the person is still actually living. And you may even encounter them, run into them. And if you are co-parenting, you'll still have to see them and have some type of relationship as far as the children are concerned. But definitely give yourself permission in this season to grieve the end of your marriage. So important. Be kind to yourself while you're doing that. Seeking support is so important, and that's what I'm here for. There's therapists that are fantastic, support groups, women's groups, like-minded groups of women who have also, or men who have also gone through divorce. This is the time to surround yourself with your friends, your family, or a therapist who can offer emotional support and a listening ear, right? This is not the time to go it alone, right? This is the time to make sure that you have a great support system so that you can navigate the challenges. Also, never forget to practice self-care. Self-care is so important in this time. You have to engage in activities that bring you joy. Maybe there's some things that you loved that you stopped doing or you put on the back burner. I know I have always loved when I see things on the side of the road, furniture, which is so crazy. And I'm the type of person who will pick those things up and then repurpose them, right? Not because I need to, but because I enjoy it. So maybe you have something that you enjoy and it brings you joy, makes you smile, makes you happy. Those are the things that you have to engage in. Engage in those activities. Maybe it's exercise. I love yoga and meditation and prayer, but now is the time to definitely exercise, move your body. Moving your body helps you to shift your mind out of a sad place. Meditation is so important. That grounds you. Pursuing a hobby, I talked about, I love painted furniture and chalk paint, right? It's so 90s, but I still love a good piece of painted furniture to this day. So whatever your hobby might be, right? This is the time to pursue that. Rebuilding mentally and emotionally is very important, right? It doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen. So this is the time to think about what you're thinking about. What are you thinking about? This is a time to shift yourself and reframe your thoughts. Reframing thoughts is so important because this allows us to challenge those negative beliefs that we might have about ourselves and negative beliefs that you might have about yourself and your future. Things have changed. You no longer have that spouse. So now it's your time to go at it alone, but you don't have to be alone because there are people to support you in this season. So focus on self-compassion. Again, be kind to yourself and remind yourself that you deserve happiness. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have joy, right? The joy of the Lord is our strength when we're going through these seasons. So you deserve that joy and that happiness, and it will come. But one of the things you have to do is shift your mind, right? You have to move from feeling as if you deserve negativity to you deserve love, light, goodness, joy. So important. Setting boundaries. This is really important because you'll do a lot of soul searching and you'll do a lot of reflection. What happened? What went wrong? Where did I go wrong? And setting boundaries is so important. Establishing healthy boundaries with your ex-spouse, so important. Especially if it's hard or if you have a lot of unresolved emotions around the divorce. So now is the time to make sure that you establish those healthy boundaries with your ex-spouse, with family members and friends, and that's to protect yourself and your emotional well-being, right? There's a term called flying monkeys. And what are flying monkeys? Well, if you haven't heard that term, flying monkeys are those people who set out on behalf of the ex to find out what you're doing, what you're up to collect information and data, and then refer that back to the ex, right? We don't want flying monkeys in this season. We don't want any of that. So we have to make sure that you set boundaries, right? That we set boundaries. Very important. And if you think about it, sometimes when you go back and reflect on the marriage or on the relationship before the marriage, you will find areas where your boundaries were not clear and where lines were crossed, but you continued with the relationship. And so we can't go back, we can't fix, we can't correct, we can't redo. But from today forward, you can establish healthy boundaries and healthy boundaries with not only the ex-spouse, but the family members and friends. That's going to be so important in protecting your well-being. And in this season, this is the time to make sure that you are protecting your well-being. You've taken a hit. It's not easy. I've been there and I understand. And that's why I'm here, because I just want you to know that you deserve happiness and joy. And there is life after divorce. So practicing forgiveness is very important. You have to let go of anger and resentment. And the way you let go of anger and resentment is through forgiveness. You know, you can forgive someone. You don't have to be around them. You can forgive them and release them. Release them with love. Practice forgiving both your ex-partner and also yourself. Very, very important, right? Because without forgiveness, you're not able to move forward. And we just want to talk about some practical tips, but I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. And I just wanted to stop the share for a minute because I really wanted to talk to you and tell you you are worth it. You are amazing. You are light shining in the midst of this dark season. And now is the time to take care of you. Now is the time to know that you are going to be okay. Life is different. Yes, there are some changes and some challenges, but each day, one step at a time, just keep moving forward. And now is the time to shift your mindset. You were coupled for a while, and now you no longer are coupled. So in this new season, there are the things that you're going to come across that don't feel familiar. But that's okay because each day you are stronger and wiser than the day before. And it's going to be all right. Truly. Let me share my screen. Here we go. So let's talk about moving forward. Moving forward is so important. You cannot stand still. You cannot be stagnant in the midst of this. You have to know that there are greater things to come. So here are some practical tips as you continue to move forward. Rediscover yourself. That is so fun. At first it's scary, right? Because you start to do things that either that you've never done before or that you've always wanted to do. It might be something as simple as going to a restaurant, a new restaurant that you've been wanting to try and taking yourself out on a date. Yeah, some people say, oh, how sad, but it's not because it's rediscovering you, rediscovering what makes you happy and what doesn't. And even learning what you don't like helps you to move forward in what you do like, right? Reconnect with old passions and explore new interests. Set goals and align with your authentic self, right? I talked a little bit about loving vintage things. I love vintage things and I love to repurpose items. That's just something that has just always been in my DNA. As a kid, my mother would have projects, uh, like find a beautiful table, but it wouldn't be so beautiful. It'd be the ugly duckling. And she would strip it and then she would sand it, stain it, shellac it, or varnish it, and it would be just absolutely beautiful. And I remember having just wonderful family meals on that table. And so things like that instilled in me taking something and being able to repurpose it and finding so much joy in it. So you have to figure out what is that thing? What are those old passions? What are those things that you loved? You know, maybe you're a fashionista. I taught school for many years, 20 plus years. I was in third grade most of that time, and then the end of my career, fifth grade. But the first 20 of those years, I wore heels every single day, every day. Boots with heels, sandals with heels. You know, why? First of all, as a teacher, why? But that was my thing. I absolutely loved heels. And then, you know, as I got a little bit older and as we started, kind of a different lifestyle, I got rid of all the heels. And when I went through my divorce, guess what I went and did? Bought a pair of high heels. Absolutely loved it, right? Had to learn how to walk in them again, but that was something that I had loved. And over time, because of what other people had to say, criticism, and whatnot, I stopped doing something that I loved, which was wearing heels. And I'm already tall, right? So it wasn't like I needed to be taller, but it's just something that I enjoyed, just something that I enjoyed. So I say all of that to say, reconnect with your old passions, but also enjoy and explore new interests, set goals that align with your authentic self. Who are you today? Who are you today? And there's different parts of us, right? There's different parts of us. We're not just one thing, right? And so sometimes we forget that there are many aspects of us. Right now, I talked about wearing heels, but then I also talked about finding old furniture and repurposing it. Those kind of don't go together, but that's the beauty of who we are. And so walk in the beauty of who you are in the season. Walk in your own authenticity. Very important. When we're married, sometimes we forget to be who God has called us to be, and we become who our mate wants us to be, right? When I was married, my mate loved if I wore sweats and if I was in extremely comfortable clothes. Not a bad thing, but when I came into the marriage, I was high heels and fancy clothes. That's what I liked, or that's what my thing was. Right now, I'm older and I've shifted again. Comfortable clothes, clothes that are made out of natural fabrics, linen and cotton. Why? Because women of a certain age are just more comfortable, as you deal with hot flashes and other things that come along with life changes, right? Menopause and things of that nature. But we have to remember to be our authentic selves, right? Please you, right? Please me, right? We have to please ourselves, right? So when I say please you, I mean do the things that bring you joy. Surround yourself also with positive influences. People have a tendency to be critical at times, right? You don't deserve to be criticized. You need positivity. You deserve positivity because you're amazing. Join support groups again or connect with others who have similar experiences. Now, if you do connect with others with similar experiences, let it not be a woe is me club, right? Or a me too club in a sad sense, right? Let it be an empowering group that seeks to find new opportunities, that seeks to lift up, that seeks to be loving and kind and supportive to one another, right? You've already come through the hard times. So now let's seek to have positivity and positive influence in your life. And that's what the support network is for. Embrace change. Woo. Take a deep breath on that one. It's time to embrace change. Understand that change is natural. It really is. Welcome new beginnings. Who you were before may not be who you are now, even if they feel uncomfortable at first, right? Even if they feel uncomfortable at first. I'm going on my 6th year of having locks. I didn't start locks until I came out of the classroom. I was a flat iron girl. I was a go to the shop every 2 weeks girl. And people always were amazed because I could keep a flat iron. My flat iron after 2 weeks looked like my flat iron the first day. Just something that, my hair was able to do. And so, as far as bad hair days, I was blessed. I didn't have them. But now I have locks. 6 years. This is something totally different. And so when I see someone, who hasn't seen me in a long time and they see me and they see me with natural hair, it's hard for them to even embrace, right? It was even hard for me to embrace it, if I'm honest. At first, it felt really uncomfortable. I had flat ironed my hair for so long that my hair had a lot of straight parts. So when I first started my locks, right, little little inch long spriglets all over. Now my hair is mid back or a little longer. Change, very different than how I've always been. But I feel like I'm walking in my authenticity. I feel like I'm being true to who I am. And so uncover who you really are. Embrace change in this season and know that, yes, it will be uncomfortable at first, but you can do it. You deserve it. Rediscover your authentic self. Who are you? I talked about locks. There were a couple times along the way where I'd wash my hair and try to wear natural hair. And, it would last all of about an hour because someone would say something, girl, what's wrong with your hair? And so when I look back, I just smile and I laugh because I was trying to get to this person that I am today. I was trying to get to this person who loves myself and loves others deeply and wants the best for myself and wants the best for others. Rediscover your authentic self. Know who you are because who you are is absolutely beautiful. It's going to take some exploration. It's going to take time. You're going to need to explore some new interests. You're going to need to rediscover your old passions that you might have neglected. And it's okay. It's okay. Set some new goals for yourself in this time. Set meaningful personal goals, things that you would want to happen for yourself, and professional goals, right? I always talk about as women get to a certain season of life. If you are in the 50 plus club alongside me, welcome. But many times professional goals change in this season, right? You're an expert. You're an expert at so many things. And so this is also a time when people have career burnout. And we're not really talking about that today. We're talking more about healing and moving forward after divorce. But just know that this is the time to set some meaningful personal goals as well as professional goals, and make sure that those goals are aligning with your values and your aspirations. Very important, because then you're going to have that sense of fulfillment. And in this season, you need things that bring you fulfillment and joy. I keep saying that word joy, right? Because the one thing I know for sure is when you have joy, then you move from a mindset that is limited to an abundant mindset where anything is possible and things are limitless. Self-love. Oh, this is so important, right? Sometimes you need to just stop and give yourself a hug. When is the last time you gave yourself a hug? Practice self-compassion. Again, don't be hard on yourself. It's a different season, right? And nurture a positive relationship with yourself during this time. Hold on, I'll take a sip. That's so good. Fresh tea. So when talking about self-love and self-compassion, right? I'm drinking tea and I'm drinking it out of a mason jar. And I have to have my herbal tea every day. It's part of my self-love. And I love to drink it, like I said, out of my favorite mason jar. This is an authentic self. I'm a country girl at heart, but excuse me. I grew up I grew up in the city. I grew up in Seattle, Washington, but originally I'm from a little town called Fowler, California. I was actually born in Selma, the next town over, but I was raised in Seattle. So I was raised in the city, but if you know me, you will see me walking around barefoot. I love to be barefoot. I love my herbal teas. I love to meditate and pray, right? All of these things help to ground me and help me to practice self-love. So your practices are going to be different, but whatever they are, make sure that you have self-compassion and make sure that you're nurturing a positive relationship with yourself during this journey. It's very important. Embracing change and new beginnings. So we are like this butterfly, right? Metamorphosis has happened, right? We were that caterpillar and just kind of inching along, and then we went into that cocoon and formed this chrysalis. And after time, we've matured and we've emerged as this beautiful butterfly. And if you don't feel like you have emerged yet as that beautiful butterfly, and you feel like maybe you're just now going into that metamorphosis stage, that's okay. But embrace change and understand this is time for a new beginning. Mind shift. Oh, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? View change as opportunity for growth rather than a source of fear or anxiety. That is so important. So important, right? There's a lot of changes that are taking place. I know when I first divorced, I also became an empty nester, everything all at once. And one of the things that I felt necessary for my healing, for my mind to shift, was to move out of the family home that we all shared together because there were too many memories. There were too many memories of kids running around, joy, just silly things that would happen, funny things that would happen, holidays that would happen. And so to be in a house that was empty, literally just me, that was just too much for me to deal with, right? So part of that meant that I had to view change as an opportunity for growth rather than a source of fear and anxiety. And so, the great part was that I was able to have that house be a rental and an Airbnb space so that I was able to move to another location where I can have a fresh start. You may need a new start in this season, right? We're talking about embracing change and new beginnings. You may need a new start, and that's okay, right? And take small steps. Don't do it all at once. Take small, consistent actions towards your goals and build momentum and confidence, right? So as you take a step and as you have success with that step, it builds your confidence. And then you take another step and your confidence grows more, and another step, and your confidence continues to grow. And as you're taking those steps, you're building that momentum, right? So you're able to move, you're able to shift your mindset. You're not in that survival mindset. You start to move toward that thriving mindset. And so that's exciting. That's exciting. Celebrate your progress. Celebrate you. Celebrate you. Sometimes this world doesn't celebrate one another enough, but celebrate you. Acknowledge and celebrate every milestone, everyone, no matter how small, on your journey of healing, right? Because the whole idea is to be whole to be healed, to be healthy with a positive mindset, knowing that you will succeed. You will thrive in this new season. You can do it. I'm so excited for this season for you. You're going to be fine. There will be some hard days. There will be some challenging days. Definitely, I'm here. If you ever need some encouragement, you can go to our website, revstephaniedenise.com. There's some blog posts on there just about this thing, right? Because my whole goal is to help people to find purpose after life's changes and life's challenges, whether it be divorce, empty nest, career burnout, loss of a loved one, any of these areas. Why? Because I've experienced it all. And I've had to go step by step by step. And I've had to be resilient. And along the way, there were people who reached out, who loved and supported me. And if I could help anybody along this journey, then that's what I feel called to do. So, a story of resilience and growth. You are resilient and you are growing. Just the fact that you're here and you're listening to this right now, this PowerPoint is showing your resilience and your growth. Find strength, seek help from a therapist, support groups, right? We do coaching. We do coaching, one-on-one coaching. And if that's something that you're interested in, we have a masterclass shifting from surviving to thriving that really has a lot to do with our mindset and how to approach each day in this new season. But there's also other support groups where they can provide strength and solidarity in your vulnerable season, right? Because going through this is hard. You lose your title, you lose your mate, sometimes you lose your home. There's a lot of things that you lose, but guess what? There's even more things to gain in this new season. You can gain your authentic self. You can gain your true purpose in this new season, right? So be open. Yes, you're vulnerable because it's new, but embrace that vulnerability and be open to share with others who can be a support for you. Rebuild your self-worth, right? Through self-reflection and self-care, rediscovering personal worth beyond your role of a spouse is key, right? You were amazing before that spouse, and you're going to be amazing after that spouse. And 3, create a new path, embracing a fresh start by pursuing passions. And what are your passions, right? Art, is that something that you love to do? Gardening, is that something that you love to do? Finding solace in creativity. There's so much healing that comes from being creative. There's so much healing that comes from gardening, being out there and having your hands in the earth and being able to plant a seed and see that seed germinate and grow over time and then harvest. Wow. And that's kind of how we are. We're like that seed being planted in new soil that has to be cultivated and germinated over time so that we could come forth with a rich harvest. I know that you can do it. I know that you will do it. And I'm excited about it. So as you embrace your unique journey, know that personal growth is so important and key. Embrace the opportunity for self-discovery and personal development. Know that every step that you take forward is a victory. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. You have to celebrate. You have to celebrate. Community support, again, connect with those others who understand your experience, right? But in a positive and meaningful way. Share stories that can be healing and also empowering. We want you to walk in empowerment. I always say that empowerment begins with touching the spirit within. Reconnect, reconnect on an authentic level, right? God loves you and God is love. And maybe you have different faith practice, but faith is very important. Faith helps you to connect and be empowered. New beginnings. Remember, your journey is unique. It's not like anybody else's. You are unique. Trust in your ability to create a fulfilling life after divorce. You can do it and you will do it. And I just want to end here, but I just want to remind you that if you would like coaching, or if you would like to have further conversation, you can always reach out to me. You can go to my website, which is revstephaniedenise.com, and you can also register for a discovery call where we can talk for about 30 minutes and see if you and I working together would be beneficial or a good fit in this season. And if you're interested in more information as far as blogs, there's some blog posts about finding purpose after divorce or after life changes on my website. And our YouTube is relatively new, but we're working on getting more content out there. And that's Reverend Stephanie Denise for the YouTube. Well, thank you so much for taking the time. You are amazing. You are awesome. You are loved. You are light, even in the midst of this dark season, and you will be okay. All right. So, again, be blessed and walk in faith, finding your purpose, and abundance will follow. Have a good evening.